Summer Fumyr is here. Fumyr is absolutely my favorite character from episode 5, so pretty excited to have her summer version here. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we've got because she looks pretty strong. Taking a look at her stats, this is the Libra mage stat line. Yuma Luna, Shepherd the Dark Diane, and then Horsetti all have this stat line. It's pretty high speed, no effectiveness, but her self-imprint does give her effectiveness. And then besides that, you have a decent bit of bulk. It's largely, she has pretty high base speed. And then her team imprint is a bit of HP in case you want that instead. So this is her first turn. It's nothing too big. It's a 2 debuff strip and then CR push back everybody up to 25%. Pretty long cooldown. It's a 5-turn cooldown. You do get an extra turn, so it's basically 3-turn. But this is just like, like she starts off with this, you get a little bit. And then after that, her S3 is where everything is. This is basically her entire kit. So it auto targets the first enemy in the front. You can't just pick who you want, and you inflict Detain. Detain temporarily removes the target from the battlefield, and it can only apply to one hero at once, so you can't use reset shenanigans and detain their entire team, as funny as that sounds. It's also unaffected by effect resistance, so you're not going to have that Ain's problem of not landing the debuff that makes up your entire kit. And then you also get deterrence, which basically just applies a timer to the detain, because you can't see the enemy hero when they're detained, so this basically puts the debuff timer on her instead. And it does also give a little bit of an interesting thing where the timer of the debuff is based on her turns, not the detained hero's turns. She also gets a barrier scaling based on her level, so giving her extra bulk will increase the size of the barrier, and also stealth. Now, of course, you do still want to give her bulk because you don't want her to die. If she dies, you lose detain, so that is one thing to keep in mind. Based on just other games, detain likely also should automatically make the hero pop out if they're the last hero remaining. So you're not just going to have your whole team with one little awkward hero detained. So that should also be a thing. The detained hero, you can see later in the combat demos, also does not affect. It's like when they say remove the target from the battlefield, they're not affected by anything at all. So stuff like damage share doesn't work. I would assume that their passives don't work. You also see this in the combat demo later, but this auto targets the first hero. What if you kill the front hero or it's Guild War and there is no front hero? Next up, it would be the bottom hero. And then I would assume that it goes front, bottom, top, back is likely what the order is going to be. Now this seems really strong, even though you can only hit the front hero, you remove them from the battlefield. So this is notably really good into stuff like Bossarunka. Now you can target the people that she was protecting. It's good into Scales, because now Scales, her entire abundance passive and damage share thing, whatever it was called, the one that shares damage, that doesn't work either. So this is really strong into some of the premier meta picks, like pretty much 2 of the strongest ML5s. You could also, this is when you're playing into her, let's say you don't have Scales or Bossarunka and you just have a general team, you might want to be pretty careful who you put in the front. Now taking a look at her S1, her S1 isn't really anything special. It's just attack, chance to stun 40%, pretty common, increases the chance to 100% with a soul burn. So notably, she does not use either of the new sets. She does not use Weakening, she does not use Fervor. You could use Weakening for more stun chance, but that sounds pretty pointless. I think you'd rather go fast and have more just raw stats. You'll notice that outside of her S3, she doesn't really do too much. She has this thing here, extra turn, dispel 2 buffs, and then just a stun chance on her S1. So she doesn't necessarily turn it into a 4v3, I think. It's more like a 3.5 or like a 3.3 v3, but still really strong given that certain characters have important position-based mechanics like Bossarunka and Lady of the Scales. But her artifact is, I think, one of the crazier things here. So when the caster takes the first turn, you have a 100% chance, 50 to 100% chance to get increased effectiveness for 3 turns. And when an ally except for the caster takes the first turn, you increase combat readiness by 20%. This is crazy because there's a certain, it's a mage artifact, and it's well, mages need book, but there's certain mages like Witch of the Mirror Tenebria that kind of don't care about book. And now the Witch of the Mirror Tenebria has 50 extra effectiveness for fun. And what if she doesn't go first? Like, it's a different setup with a slow Tenebria. You no longer need an extra turn opener. Because with Umbral Keystones, you need to take 2 turns in order to get the CR push. Umbral Keystones does notably give effectiveness, but this, like, you can just take 1 turn and she'll go. So, like, your Witch of the Mirror Tenebria would bridge off of your Zeo, for example. And that is kind of crazy. This gives her, like, an easier proc condition at the cost of effectiveness for a not turn 1 Witch of the Mirror Tenebria, and then 50 free effectiveness or a turn 1 Witch of the Mirror Tenebria. So I think this is, like, easily her best in slot artifact now. Yeah. I don't know how I feel about buffing that unit, but it'll be fun for her. And then there are some other units that probably would benefit from this just for the effectiveness or the bridging effect. I think just only needing like 1 turn to bridge is very, very nice, as opposed to Umbral that needs 2 turns. You'll also notice that this artifact has double tank stats, so this is going to be a very, very tanky artifact, because usually it's like with a attack here. So this will be very, very nice just for tanking it up as well. Let's take a quick look at some of the combat demos. So this is just taking a look at the effect of her S3. Let's also just watch her S3 real quick. So she puts you in her ball, and then you can see, like, you can't see anything on the character. So that's why they have a little buff on her. We're going to go forward a bit, but the damage share is off. Like, there is no damage share happening now. There's also one kind of concerning thing, which you don't see it load into the match, but why does Flan get hit here? Is this, like, I don't know if this is a new artifact or they're cooking with symbol LCB or something, but that's kind of funny. So they're going to kill off all the other units here. Okay, there's still a Holy Sack. And notably, when skills pop out, you'll see she's full HP. So, of course, she didn't get any of the damage share. She didn't lose any HP. So she did get just pretty much completely removed from the field. And if you go to the second one, you start off with an RNL who just completely explodes the Estelle in the front. So now, when you select the S3, we'll let her S2 first. When you select the S3, you can see the other 2 are grayed out. It's only Ruel that's selectable, so you can see that the auto-targeting does go front to bottom, and then likely, just based off the way that like stuff works, it goes top, then back next. So yeah, you can select other heroes, it's just still, like, connected, like, it's still, you can only hit specific heroes. So, the Tain is a pretty insane debuff. It's the first of its kind, of course, in Epic 7. We usually get some pretty new mechanics for summer heroes. And really strong into Fossarunka and Scales. Just, you're going to have to remember the position well against her. We have other summer stuff confirmed, like what is probably ML of Era. I'm assuming it's ML and not a limited form, is likely coming soon too, plus the new summer hero, and good luck with your rolls.